One of the most impressive and well-documented civilizations in history is the Roman Empire. A truly fascinating era of human history and development, where amazing discoveries and events took place that would shape the rest of humanity. Well, here are 5 interesting facts you probably didn't know about ancient Rome and the Romans. As always, sit back and enjoy. The average life expectancy was just 35. Despite the fact that the Roman era is credited with many medical breakthroughs, such as the invention of the first hospitals and various herbal remedies, this did not change the fact that mortality rates during this time were very high, in particular those of children. Historians have established that a staggering 50% of all Roman children died before the age of 10, with most being lost during or shortly after childbirth. The odds didn't improve much once they passed the threshold of 10 though. While many Roman men and women did live to comparable ages to today, it's estimated that the average lifespan for an adult male was just 35 years old. They had some disgusting beliefs. As advanced as the Romans may have been in terms of architecture and healthcare, some of their beliefs were just downright strange. For example, while the Romans were known for their complex early sewer systems, they also believed and worshipped a sewer goddess. Named Clausina, she was in charge of making sure that the sewers ran properly, and she had a shrine dedicated to her in Basilica Aemilia. The Romans also believed that urine had medical properties, so much so they washed their clothes in it, and even used it as mouthwash, believing that it kept their teeth clean and white and removed mouth ulcers. There was much more equality than today. One of the biggest issues facing 21st century society is inequality in all its forms. We are blighted by the impacts of racial, social, gender, and financial inequality. Rewind to 2,000 years ago, however, and ancient Rome was much more progressive than you might have thought. For starters, a common misconception was that women had no rights whatsoever. The truth, though, is that while women were not permitted to vote, they could hold such high-power positions as priests, could own land and property, went to school alongside boys, and even some rare cases participated as full-fledged gladiators. As well as this, there was far less financial inequality. A study released in 2011 found that the top 1% of Roman society controlled only 16% of the country's wealth, as compared to the US now, with the top 1% of earners controlling around 40% of the nation's wealth. It's also believed that homelessness was much rarer than today's levels. Emperor Caligula was insane. Despite such amazing progress, ancient Rome wasn't without its missteps when it came to electing officials to power. The most dramatic example of this is the third emperor of Rome, Caligula, who is remembered as the most tyrannical leader Rome had ever known. Ascending to power at just age 24, it's widely believed that Caligula suffered from some form of mental instability. Examples of his insanity include building a 3-mile-long bridge of boats just so he could ride his horse over it to prove that he could, making it illegal for anyone to look down at him from above due to his bald spot, and spending an entire treasury worth of money in his first month as emperor, throwing lavish parties and building a marble stable for his horse, which he then proceeded to make his senator. They waged the longest war since records began. The Roman and Persian empires fought many battles, and try as they might, the Romans were unable to conquer the Persian forces and add Persia to their massive empire. The closest the Roman Empire ever came to conquering them came in 116 AD, when Emperor Trajan captured Iran, though as soon as he died in 117 AD, his successor, Emperor Hadrian, relinquished it again. By the time the conflict came to an end in 628 AD, the war between Rome and Persia had been waged for 682 years, the longest war in all of human history. So that's 5 fascinating facts about ancient Rome and the Romans. I hope you've enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.